the show, Jackson Transportation Service Center Manager for MDOT, Kelby Wallace. Kelby, how are you?
Good, how are you, Bart?
Good. Happy Valentine's Day.
You too?
You have stickers for everyone today. Let's see, we're going to put you in the Heartbreak Club today. Have that above the Under Armour. So, yes, you will be in the Heartbreak Club because you already have Valentine.
Okay.
Yes.
I've got one for you.
Yeah.
Gentleman from my office, one of our MDOT inspectors, wanted to wish you a happy Valentine's Day from Jason Knopf from our office. So I don't have a sticker from him, but he mentioned, and my office is always curious when I'm coming down here because they like to check it out and see if I mention their names or say nice things about them and stuff. So I wanted to sneak that in there.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jason. Happy Valentine's Day to you as well. So being February, we've had mild weather. It's unusual. That doesn't help. I mean, you've got to make plans if you want to work on a nice day. You can't just go out and start shoveling. Not
on our big projects, right? A lot of times some of their staff is laid off for the winter or they do other things. So a lot of them kind of target that early March to mid-March for starting our big projects. We'll get into that a little bit later. Our project on 94 west of Jackson is going to start in that mid-March time frame. Okay. The nice weather has allowed some of our other kind of work to continue through the winter, like we're doing like 6 or 7 traffic signals on Cooper Street in the city of Jackson and Jackson County. Yeah.
That's pretty major. I mean, you're actually excavating. I saw you guys digging like at the intersection between the sidewalk and the curb. Yeah, so we put in new foundations, and those are fairly deep foundations, and they're 2 to 3 foot diameter that go drill down 20 to 40 feet to make sure that that's a solid foundation, because we've got those big, what we call mast arms. They're big towers that stick out of the ground 30 to 40 feet, and then they have these really heavy traffic signals on them, so they got to be strong enough so they don't tip over. It'd be a disaster, obviously. So that's a lot of work, but that kind of work's been able to continue this winter with our mild weather. Good, and I think everyone loves the look of these big black mast arms, and they're so much more visible. They're well lit, and I think as a community, being able to make us easy to navigate for an out-of-towner is a plus too. Yeah, I'd have to give the credit to that vision to the City of Jackson staff, the city manager, the city engineering staff. They've really made it a point when MDOT does a traffic signal in the city, they partner with us because they want to have the matching signals that are all those what we call mast arms, kind of fancy, very aesthetically pleasing, with the same color. They have them powder coated in that black color, so they kind of all match through town. So if you look at some of the rural traffic signals on MDOT, they don't look like that. Yeah. But in the city, we end up doing that. So yeah, they look great. All right, so you've got something very challenging you're working on out in the Parma area. You were telling me about before the show. Tunnel under the roads. Yeah. So what we've got a creek out there. It's called the Paul Drain, but we have to replace that pipe that carries that creek under I-94. And it's about 30 feet deep from the roadway surface. To cut that open with a traditional excavator and cut the pavement would be a huge disruption of traffic. Very complicated and could be subject to major safety concerns. So our contractor and our designers came up with this method that we call it basically boring and jacking a piece of pipe, and we push it under the roadway. Right here's a picture of kind of the system that has these rails that we push into the earth there. Up there at the top of the screen, you can see the guardrail. That's I-94 above. And we'll go ahead and we'll dig that 8-foot diameter, which is 96 inches. We'll dig a hole, and then they'll use a hydraulic machine to push that pipe under I-94. And you can see that circular piece right there in the middle. That's the beginning of that pipe that's going to go under there. Wow. Yeah, so it's kind of, this weather has allowed them to start that through this winter, and it'll be going for about another month, maybe a month and a half to complete that. And then that stream will then be moved from the old pipe under I-94. We'll kind of relocate it, and it'll go through that new pipe under I-94. And the 50,000 people driving up top will never know what happened. And the pipe that it replaces, was it that big? It was about a 60-inch pipe.
So typically when we replace pipe, we upsize that a little bit to accommodate for some larger rainfall events that we're seeing nowadays, more intense. So that's typically pipes are upsized when we put them in. So that one went from like a 60 to a 96 inch this time.
All right, so that's going to be part of the West I-94 project that you mentioned is going to start up mid-March or so. And that is going to be as major as what we just went through throughout the city area of I-94.
Yes. Yep, it's a full reconstruction of all the roadways and the ramps and interchanges. Out there, our major piece is the Deering Road interchange this summer. Our project's going to need to shut down the bridge and the ramps at the Deering Road interchange from Memorial Day to Labor Day approximately. And we're going to put in roundabouts at those ramps to help with the safety out there. There's some real tight sight distance out there with the way that bridge is set up, and the ramps are really close. So these roundabouts are going to be a big safety improvement there to that interchange.
Yeah, and you purposely chose that period of time because of school.
Correct. We're very cognizant. The Western School District is just south on Deering Road, south of that interchange. So to minimize the impacts to buses, to parents, to students, we required our contractor to do that in the summertime when school's out. So I'm a parent of a school-age child. I know how chaotic it is at the morning drop-off and at the afternoon pickup at schools. So we do our best when our projects can work around schools.
And when the elementary building is complete, the traffic will be that much more.
More traffic, correct.
All right, that's coming summer. Of course, Mackey's on Deering Road as well, so those folks, you communicate with them as well?
Yeah, so our construction staff in my office has done a great job of reaching out. We had a sit-down meeting with Mackey and their staff, provided them a bunch of information on the dates and the detour routes and listened to some of their concerns and tried to incorporate them into our project this summer to help make it as palatable as possible. We know it's a disruption, but we try to do as much as we can ahead of time.
The whole section of I-94 that you've yet to do, but I know you've started working on it, you really notice how much work needs to be done when you're driving, and the contrast between all the new and all the old. The one thing I noticed the other day driving from Albion to Jackson was how dark. I mean, it's really dark and hard to see until you get to Jackson, and that's wow. It's really so noticeable.
Correct. The lighting really makes a difference in Jackson, where we added that in there. Yes, and you know, to build on your point on I-94 west of M60, we've got the westbound that's rebuilt. That's all done from M60 all the way to the county line. But this year we've got to rebuild from Michigan Avenue on eastbound 94 up to M60. And if you've driven that is one of the worst pieces of pavement on eastbound I-94 right now in the state of Michigan. So our maintenance crews are doing a great job holding that together until we can tear it apart, you know, beginning in March.
And there's the map of West Michigan in Parma to M60. And that's you know, that's a big chunk of 94.
That's 7 miles, 7.5 miles, you know, of all of eastbound that we'll be rebuilding this year. We've got a little bit of bridge work on the bridges that go over top of 94, not a whole lot. And then I mentioned again the Deering Road interchange is going to be completely rebuilt with the roundabouts between Memorial Day and Labor Day. And then we also have to rebuild the Parma Road ramps, the eastbound ramps. We rebuilt the westbound ramps at Parma last year when we rebuilt the westbound roadway. And so now we have to take care of those eastbound ramps.
They're great. CCTV cameras, are there some new cameras on the new part of 94 now?
Yes, so for every interchange in Jackson County, by next year we should have a camera active that the public can look at on our public website. So they're kind of all, we have a couple that are live at Cooper Street, at Airport, at Sargent. Those are on our public website that you can look at now. We've got new cameras at West Avenue and Elm that we're still making sure the video feed is being provided properly and whatnot. And then at the other interchanges west of Jackson, those cameras and poles will be installed with the project this year. So yeah, we're moving towards having every interchange publicly accessible by camera.
Neat. So is there a purpose, or is that just a perk?
So that is, we use that to help identify traffic congestion and incidents. So when some of our notifications go out to warn the public that there's a crash on I-94 near Deering Road, a lot of times our camera would pick that up. And we would see that. Our first responders kind of have extra access to those cameras, so they can see even more details. So actually they can see, all right, do I need a fire truck? Do I need multiple fire trucks? Do I need just a tow truck? Is it just a flat tire? And so it allows them to respond better to incidents. So really in the name of safety and mobility is what those cameras are being put up for, to help us operate and manage and maintain our roadway better, faster service to broken down vehicles and wrecks, and to help our public responders do it safely.
Nice. All right, here's the plans for 2024, and it's all going to be wrapped up before the year's over.
Yes. So that's our schedule for this year, kind of a little more details of what I talked about. We're going to start with some of those ramp closures at the Parma Road interchange in March. The Deering Road ramps are going to close just for a 30-day period, just eastbound in April. The Deering Road Bridge over 94 would still be open at that time, and the westbound ramps would open. You get into June to September, which is the Memorial Day to Labor Day. That's when the Deering Road full interchange closure is going to happen. We're going to have kind of minor bridge work going out throughout the construction season, and then we're going to wrap everything up this late fall.
Nice. Ted Christoph at Christoph and Sons, he says the stop light at Mechanic at the bridge heading south is the longest light in the Western Hemisphere.
That's the one I use when I come down here for this interview. So you've got to pull up in the right spot, because we have,
I knew it.
We have the detectors down there, and they detect you when you pull up to them. So he may not be pulling up to the right spot.
I mean, it's happening to me. You know, the other day I was there, and it's like, did I daydream through a cycle? I might have, but I probably wasn't pulled up far enough.
Yeah. So I think there's two. We have like 2 stop bars out there, but you have to pull up the one closest to the signal up there to get it to a trigger. I saw that today when I was coming down.
I always stop at the first stop bar. Yeah. Okay, next time I'll know. Oh, good to know.
Glad I could help.
Well, thanks for coming in, and happy Valentine's Day again to you and to Jason and everyone at the office.
Appreciate it a lot.
All right. Jackson TSC manager with MDOT, Kelby Wallace. Next up,